Yeah, Harshita, Harshini, Harshita, no, Harshini. Harshini, ఒక్కసారి హ్యాండ్ రేస్ చేయమ్మా. ఐఎమ్ నాట్ ఏబుల్ టు సీ యువర్ నేమ్. జస్ట్ రేజ్ ఇక్కడ రేజ్ యువర్ హ్యాండ్ అని ఉంటుంది చూడు. యా రైట్. ఐవ్ డన్. అమ్మా, యు అన్మ్యూట్ యువర్ సెల్ఫ్ హర్షిని. రావట్లేదా?
మాతాజీ ఆంటీ, మాతాజీ మీరు నన్నే చేశారు.
మాతాజీ మాతాజీ
ఎవరు?
హర్షిని మాతాజీ.
చెప్పమ్మా, ప్రేయర్ స్టార్ట్.
మాతాజీ ఓం అజ్ఞానతిమిరాంధస్య జ్ఞానాంజనశలాకయా చక్షురున్మిలితం యేన తస్మై శ్రీ గురవే నమః. శ్రీ చైతన్య మనోభీష్టం స్థాపితం యేన భూతలే స్వయం రూప కదా మహ్యం దదాతి స్వదాంతికం. తప్తకాంచ గౌరాంగి రాధే వృందనేశ్వరి విషభానుస్తుతే దేవి ప్రణమామి హరి ప్రియే.
కృపా సింధుభ్య ఏవ చ. చెప్పు.
వాంఛకల్పతరుభ్యశ్చ కృపా సింధుభ్య ఏవ చ పతితానాం పావనేభ్యో వైష్ణవేభ్యో నమో నమః. వందేహం శ్రీ గురో శ్రీయుతాపద కమలం శ్రీ గురున్ వైష్ణవాంశ్చ శ్రీరూపం సాగ్రజాంతం సహగణా రఘునాథాన్వితం తాంశ్చ జీవం సాద్వైతం సావధూతం పరిజనా సహితం కృష్ణ చైతన్య దేవం శ్రీ రాధా కృష్ణ పాదాన్ సహగణా లలిత శ్రీ లలిత శ్రీ
సహగణా రఘునా. నువ్వు తప్పు చదివితే నాకు పోతుంది. చూసి చదువు అమ్మా.
లాస్ట్ లైన్.
సహగణా రఘునాథాన్వితం తం సజీవం
సాద్వైతం సావధూతం పరిజనా సహితం కృష్ణ చైతన్య దేవం శ్రీ రాధా కృష్ణ పాదాన్ సహగణ లలిత విషకాన్వితాంశ్చ.
హే కృష్ణ కరుణా సింధు దీనబంధు జగత్పతే.
హే కృష్ణ కరుణా సింధు దీనబంధు జగత్పతే గోపేశ గోపికాంత రాధాకాంత నమోస్తుతే. జై శ్రీ కృష్ణ చైతన్య ప్రభు నిత్యానంద శ్రీ అద్వైత గదాధర శ్రీవాసాది గౌర భక్త వృంద. హరే కృష్ణ హరే కృష్ణ 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 హరే 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 రామ 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 హరే హరే. హరే కృష్ణ మాతాజీ.
చదవండి ప్రేయర్, తప్పేం లేదు. తప్పులు చదవకుండా కొన్నాళ్ళు మీకు బాగా ఫెమిలియర్ అయ్యే వరకు మీరు చదవండి ఎదురుగా పెట్టుకొని. ఓకే, రైట్. సో లాస్ట్ టైం అందరం కృష్ణుడి పెళ్ళిళ్ళు చూసేసాం కదా, చూసామా? చూసాం. షేర్ స్క్రీన్. Right. So today is the 8th day we are hearing Krishna Kada. We are all sharing the beautiful stories of Krishna. Initially, for the first 6 weeks, we have 5 to 6 weeks, we talked about Krishna in Vrindavan, all his childhood pastimes, and many beautiful stories. How Krishna has come to this world, how Krishna has killed lot of demon. Rather than saying Krishna has killed all the demon, we can even say how Krishna has given mukti to many people. Mukti, Brunda, just don't do all this. Okay, so after that he has come to Madhura, and he has killed Kamsa, and then and now he is staying there, and there also he has finished his education, and now he is with his parents, and he got married. How he has married 8 prime wives, and why he had to marry 16,100 princes also we have studied. So now he has got 16,108 wives, and we have seen how Narada was confused and thinking, how can like one wife only everybody gets confused? How Krishna is managing with 16,100 wives? And once when Narada went there, Narada went to Dwaraka and he visited almost all the palaces there. And wherever Narada went there, he was seeing Krishna. Like, because Krishna is everywhere. Only we people cannot see Krishna. When a lady is so much blessed, so to have Krishna as her husband, what will be the problem? Every day she'll be able to see Krishna. So Krishna is everywhere. Krishna is making all his devotees happy. Krishna is making all his wives happy. So, and after the marriage, Krishna had 10 children with each wife. That means he had 16,108 into 10 children. So he had so many children, no problem for Krishna. After all, we are also his children only. When he is able to create everything and take care of everything, what is the problem? So lot of children, Krishna has got lot of children. Now we are coming to the story of Krishna's son Pradyumna. Okay, Pradyumna is the son of Rukmini and Rukmini and Krishna. And with Rukmini, he has 10 beautiful children, and the elder son is Pradyumna. And he, even though just to be born as child of Krishna itself is the greatest blessing. Nothing easy. Like normally, nobody will have so much of what you call this blessing, like to have Krishna as materialistic father. Anyway, Krishna is our father only, to have materialistic father. And but this Pradyumna has got a special purpose for his birth. Like he was born to kill a demon called Sambhara. So and the demon also knew that this boy, the elder son of Krishna, is going to kill him. So what this Shambhara has done is, like when Krishna had this son born, there were huge celebrations in Dwaraka. When the celebrations were going on, lot of people came and they were all seeing the child. And this Sambhara came as disguised as a lady. He came in a sari as a lady and walked inside. And when there was nobody there, he just lifted the child and went off, and then dropped the child into a ocean, thinking that dropping a child into the ocean, he is going to die. See, the same mistake Kamsa also did. The same mistake. These people think that they are beyond Krishna, that they can undo whatever Krishna is planning to do. So they think by throwing him into the ocean, he is going to die, and this Sambhara is going to live forever. That is how they imagine. That when we don't understand the Krishna's Leelalu or Krishna's powers, this is how we misunderstand. Thinking we'll do this, we can avoid this. We can do that, we'll avoid this. But no, whatever a decision is done, whatever our destiny is, we cannot avoid it. The only way to avoid anybody's destiny is only by meditating on Krishna. Like if we have a karma, it can be either a good karma or a bad karma. If we want to get out of it, the only way is not running away from it. The only way is praying to Krishna. And if Krishna is happy with our prayers, he will bless us and he will avoid it. So instead of doing that, what these demons do is they always think that by doing something with their intelligence, with their strength and all that, they can avoid their death. So this Sambara took Krishna's son Pradyumna and then he has dropped him into the ocean. And Rukmini Mata, she'll be very sorrow thinking that her son is missing. They don't know where he is. And when the child was dropped into the ocean, the child was swallowed by a fish. And the child happily went into the stomach of the fish. And can somebody kill Krishna's son? No. So the same fish was caught by a fisherman. And in turn, that fisherman bought that fish and sold it to the king's palace. And again the fish came, that means the Pradyumna came back to the demon Sambara's palace. And when the cook wanted to cook it, he has cut the fish and he has seen a baby inside. So he was confused. What is this baby inside the fish? So he didn't know what to do. What he has done is, there was a lady maid servant there called Mayavati. Mayavati, what he has done, what this cook has done is, he has given the child to Mayavati and said, okay, you take care of the child and then you can bring him up. So this Mayavati takes the child with him. And in reality, this Pradyumna's pastimes were, he was Manmada in his previous life. Who is Manmada? He is also one demigod who is in charge of all the lust we have for all our desires. Manmada is the root cause. He is the one who activates all the desires in us. So this Manmada, when in the past times, Shiva initially he had a wife who was insulted by her father itself and then jumps into a holy fire and commits suicide. And so Shiva will be very upset with the total incident and he just gives up everything and starts meditating. And later, again, the same lady who has committed the suicide will be born as Parvati. And then everybody wanted Shiva to marry Parvati Devi. But Shiva was totally adamant. He didn't want to marry her. And so he was continuously sitting and meditating. So what all these demigods, all these devatas do is, they send Manmada to go and disturb Shiva. That means because he is the cause for all the desires, so they have sent him to put his influence on Shiva and Lord Shiva and then get the desire in him to marry. That's what they wanted to do. And so this Manmada goes and tries to disturb Shiva. When he tries to disturb Shiva, Shiva gets, from the meditation, he gets disturbed. And when he opens his eyes, he gets so upset. And that too, when somebody is seriously meditating and opens the eyes, there will be so much of power in the eyes that it is difficult for the opposite person to take it. So when Shiva opens his eyes, the Manmada standing in front of him, who was trying to put his energies on Lord Shiva, after all, next to Krishna is Shiva. Shiva is so powerful. How can somebody disturb Shiva? So when they go and try to disturb Shiva, with the power of Shiva, with the power in the eyes of Shiva, this Manmada gets burnt. He just simply burns off and then becomes ashes. And so this Mayavati, his wife, Rati Manmada, she's actually, Manmada's wife is called Rati, but that lady will be very upset, and then she understands that this man is going to be reborn. So she is also here waiting for husband to come. So this maid Mayavati, who was given the child to take care of, is none other than Manmada's wife Rati. So once she takes the baby and she starts taking care of the baby, but the baby grows very fast. The way the baby is growing, and when the baby grows, she could see the resemblances of her husband Manmada in the boy, and the baby in no time becomes big. So she will be, I mean, like she feels that this boy looks exactly like my husband Manmada. Then that was the time when Narada comes and then tells this lady that you are not this Mayavati, you are none other than Rati Devi, and this boy, whomever you are bringing up, is your husband Manmada. So this lady is very happy. She could recognize Manmada, and so they decide to get married. So, and then she in turn reveals the total story to this Pradyumna, and says that you are born here not to stay here, but to kill Shambhara. So you go and kill Shambhara. So she tells you go and kill Shambhara. This is Mayavati, and then Pradyumna, and then when she's so what this man does is this Pradyumna, he goes and in turn calls Shambhara for a war, and then and then okay, this I have not covered. Okay, and then he raises a very big war on Manmada and Shambhara, and then he accuses Shambhara with lot of what he call provocating words, and then this Shambhara comes for war, and then finally Pradyumna kills Shambhara. And then later, once this is over, then that time Pradyumna goes back to, because he was told by his wife Mayavati that he is none other than Krishna's son, and also Manmada. He goes back to Dwaraka. But before he goes, I mean, all the demigods are also very happy that he has killed everybody, and that Manmada and Rati have got together. They put flowers on them. And then later Narada goes to Dwarka, where Rukmini Mata will be very sorrow that she is missing her son, and that's when Narada goes there and then says that, see, this is your son is not lost nor killed, your son was thrown away by so and so, and now he has killed him, and he has married Mayavati, and he is coming back. And so again, Pradyumna is back to Dwaraka to his parents. So, and later also Pradyumna behaves like he knows that Krishna is the supreme personality of God, and that he is fortunate to have him as his father. So he behaves in a very obedient way to his father, and throughout his life he keeps serving his father Krishna. Next, the marriage of Aniruddha and Lochana. We have seen the marriage of Pradyumna, so we will see the marriage of Aniruddha and Lochana. And this Pradyumna has a son called Aniruddha, and Aniruddha and Rukmini. You know Rukmini. Rukmini is the wife of Krishna. Rukmini's brother is Rukmi. This Rukmi, if you hope you remember, last time when we studied this, last time when we talked about Krishna's marriage with Rukmini, we discussed that Rukmi was against Rukmini marrying Krishna. So what has he done? When Krishna was taking away Rukmini, he came and fought with him. And when Krishna was about to kill Rukmini comes and stops him, saying, "Please don't kill my brother." So when Rukmini requests, Krishna leaves him. So what he does, he shaves half of his head and mustache and then leaves. That time Rukmini takes a oath saying that until I get back my sister, until I kill Krishna and get back my sister, I am not going to enter back my kingdom. So that way he could never get back his sister, so he could never go back to his kingdom. Whereas he was living in a village called Bhojakta. He was really. So later, I don't know, maybe he must have compromised. He wanted to give his daughter to Krishna's grandson. Even though he was against marrying his sister to Krishna, but he was ready to give his granddaughter to Krishna's grandson, Aniruddha. So when the total family of Krishna goes there for the marriage, and when before the marriage actually, Rukmi was even though he has agreed for this marriage, and because he has no alternative, he was okay with it, but he was never happy with Krishna. Mm. So he was never happy with Krishna. And when all these people have come for marriage, what they do is the king of Kalinga was friend of Rukmi. So what he does is he invites Balarama. Obviously, Balarama will also come for the marriage, no? So when they come for the marriage, this king of Kalinga invites Balarama to play chess with Rukmi. And so initially Rukmi starts winning. When Rukmi was winning, what this king of Kashi and then not Kashi, Kalinga and Rukmi does is they start laughing at Balarama very badly. Normally there can be a game, one will lose, one will win. We should not laugh at others, no? But they start laughing. So, in fact, who is Balarama? He is the power potency of Krishna. He is almost as powerful as Krishna. How can anybody defeat Balrama? So, in spite of which, when he was being defeated, what finally Balrama says is, okay, this time I am going to put 1 lakh coins in the chess game and play. And then this time Balrama plays seriously and he wins the game. When he wins the game, this Rukmi doesn't agree. He says, no, you lost the game. When somebody wins the game, if they say you lost the game, what can we do? It's all not logical way of speaking. So again they play the game, and again the same thing happens. And when again the same thing happens, and what happens is the Akashawani says, no, the game is played well only. Rukmi, Miss Balarama has not cheated anybody. Balarama has genuinely won the game. So Rukmi has lost the game. Like this, when the Akashwani says also, Rukmi doesn't agree, and this king of Kalinga also doesn't agree. And they just get angry, and then they take, and then the way they talk in such a bad language that this Balarama gets angry. And finally, he takes his the club means what we call this gada, and then gives one on the head of Rukmi. And then Rukmi there and then dies. And then the moment Rukmi is dead, the king of Kalinga, he got afraid and he started running away. Then Balrama ran behind him, and because he was unnecessarily laughing, he just removes his teeth so that he cannot do this kind of things in future. And then he breaks all his followers who were laughing at him. He just punishes all of them, and then they all run away. Then later they come back and they do the marriage of Aniruddha and Rochana in a very grand manner, and they take the total family to Dwaraka. This is one more. This is the marriage of Krishna's grandson. Now, marriage of Usha and Aniruddha. There's a great devotee called Banasura. This Banasura is the son of Bali Chakravarti. We know, all of us know who is Bali Chakravarti, no? He is the grandson of Prahalada. We know who is Prahalada, a great devotee of Vishnu. And Prahalada's son is Bali Chakravarti. All of us know who is Bali Chakravarti. He is also a demon, but who is very he was doing a lot of harm to the Mother Earth, but in spite of that, whatever somebody asks, he keeps giving. So Krishna comes, Vishnu comes in the form of a dropped small boy, and then asks for 3 steps. And Krishna, the moment he sanctions, Then one step is put on Krishna's, this Vishnu becomes huge. He gets back to his original size and puts one leg on the earth and one leg in the sky and says, "Where do I put my leg? Third leg." So Krishna, Bali says, "Put it on my head." And so that's how it is put. And he is such a devotee and such a sincere man. His son is this man, not Rochana, what is his name? Banasura. His son is Banasura. But he is not a devotee of Vishnu. He is a great devotee of Shiva, and he worships Shiva very much. So he pleased Shiva to the fullest extent. And what Shiva does is, Shiva says, "Okay, you are doing so much of service to me. I am so happy with you, because if you have more hands, you can do more service to me." That's how Shiva thinks. And then gives 1,000 hands to Banasura. So Shiva has given 1,000 hands to Banasura. And I think all of you heard about Tandava Nrityam. This is a very great dance performed by Lord Shiva. So when Shiva does that Tandava Nrityam, this Banasura, because he has got 1,000 hands, he takes 500 drums, and then each drum requires 2 hands, no? So he plays music so beautifully. So Shiva will be very happy with the kind of service he is doing. And then Shiva asks him, "What do you want?" Then this Banasura says, "You come and stay in my kingdom, and then take care of my kingdom, so that nobody comes and attacks my kingdom." This is the desire Banasura asks. So actually it is wrong. We should never ask the God to come and stay with us. That is wrong. But Banasura, because he is a very egoistic man, he asks. So once, because Shiva has promised that he will give whatever Banasura wanted, so Shiva comes and stays in Banasura's country, and then keeps protecting the country. And so this Banasura already has 1,000 hands, and all the demigods also are afraid of him. Everybody on earth, heaven, everyone are afraid. So nobody comes for any fighting with him. So this Banasura becomes so arrogant. One day he goes to Shiva and says, "What is this? I am such a great fighter. I am not able to fight, and there is nobody with whom I can fight. With whom do I fight? Because I get more in Telugu, we say, no, the itching. Something. So he says, "I am getting itching in my hands. So because there is nobody for me to fight, I am going and fighting with the mountains." So he talks in such an arrogant way. Shiva says, "No, never do like that. Never talk like that. That's very bad. You should never think of fighting with anybody. You should not think that you are the greatest. There is a man who is going to come and fight with you, and where you are going to lose." That's how he says. Then afterwards, Banasura has a daughter. He has a beautiful daughter, and this beautiful daughter, what Banasura does is, this Banasura kept his daughter in a palace where nobody can enter into, and she is kept in a very protected way. So one day when his daughter Usha was sleeping, she got a dream, and in the dream she saw a beautiful young man. So when she saw the beautiful young man, she immediately, in the dream itself, she falls into love with him. And then she falls into love with him and she gets up. But she doesn't know who he is. So she has a friend called Chitralekha. Then she asks Chitralekha, she tells Chitralekha. Then Chitralekha was surprised. She says, "Your father has brought you up in such a protected manner, and now how come you have seen a man? Till now you have not seen anybody." She says, "No, I have seen a beautiful person in my dream." So then what Chitralekha does is, Chitralekha is a great artist. She drew all the paintings of all the demigods. Then Usha says, "No, not these people." Then she drew the picture of Shiva, and not Shiva, Krishna, and then Pradyumna and everything. She says there are features for these people, but not this one. Then Chitralekha drew the painting of Aniruddha. And when Chitralekha drew the painting of Aniruddha, then Usha says, yes, he is the one. He is the one who came into my dream, and he is the one whom I love and I want to marry. So what this Chitralekha has got magical powers, mystical powers also. She can travel in the air, go to any place, bring whatever she wants, and that kind of powers also Chitralekha has. So that night she silently goes to Pradyumna's Aniruddha's palace where Aniruddha was sleeping, and she silently lifts the cot and brings it and put it in Usha's palace. So the next day, when Aniruddha woke up from his sleep, he realizes that he is in a totally new place. And then this Usha and Chitralekha explains what has happened. And he was also very happy with Usha, with her beauty. And so he started staying here and living with Usha. And then later, after some time, some few days or few months pass on, and then one day this Banasura gets information that there is a male person in the palace of his daughter. You will be surprised. How can there be a male? The arrangement is so tight that nobody can go inside. How can such a man go inside? But then he goes one day, he gives a sudden surprise, and then he sees the beautiful couple there. Actually, the couple was looking very beautiful. He should have accepted and then got them married with each other because they love each other. But this man is such an arrogant man. He says, no, how can this happen? And then he raises a fight on Anirudh. Anirudh himself was a great warrior, but here a big, very powerful, we know what kind of great fighter this Banasura is. So when Aniruddha fights with him for quite some time, and finally Banasura ties him with a rope and then arrests him in thing. Then Narada goes to Dwarka. And then already there, they don't know where Aniruddha is there. Suddenly how he has disappeared, and they keep searching for him. And then Narada goes and tells, see, your son is at such and such place at Banasura's palace. He is arrested, and then he is into trouble. Then Krishna, Balarama, and every Pradyumna, everybody, they all take their total soldiers, and then they raise a war on Banasura. And so a big war happens. Now Shiva has given a promise saying that he is going to protect Banasura. So with whom should now Shiva fight? He has to fight with Lord Krishna. Actually, Shiva is a great devotee of Krishna. But now that he has given a word to Shiva saying that Shiva has given a word to Banasura. Now he had to fight on behalf of Banasura with Lord Shiva. So Lord Shiva becomes the Sainyadikari, that means in charge of the total soldiers of Banasura. And his sons also, Vinayaka and Kumaraswamy, both of them also accompany him. All of them come for a fight with Krishna's people, Krishna's side. And then Krishna's side also, Krishna, Balarama, and Krishna's children, everybody take the turn. And then they have a very big fight. And once they have a very big fight, see, Krishna knows that Shiva is his devotee. And Krishna knows that he won't kill Shiva. And he knows that Shiva is doing all this not because he's bad or not because he wants to harm Krishna, not because he has no devotion. He is doing it because he has given a word to Banasura. So he wanted to save Shiva. So what Krishna does is he puts an arrow on Shiva, which makes Shiva continuously yarning. Like he can't do anything. Keep on saying like this. He keeps on yarning. Nothing else but yarning. So he keeps on doing it. So that way, that was the moment when Shiva could not fight. And then this Balarama, Pradyumna, Samba, and all the other other side, all the children, they fight very strongly on the these people. And that is when Shiva was not there, Krishna could go further and then fight with Balarama. And then immediately Krishna puts if Balarama and Krishna thinks, well, after all, Banasura is a small one. So immediately Banasura's chariot will be broken and a great war happens. Then again, now Krishna knows that when a great chariot, I mean, everything breaks, and then Krishna comes, and then he puts his Vishnu Chakra on Balarama, not Balarama, Banasura, which comes and starts hitting, cutting off all his hands. Then that's when Shiva again gets back to normalcy, and then comes and requests Krishna, saying that Krishna, please don't kill Banasura because he is my devotee. And then Krishna stops. Krishna does not stop because Shiva has agreed. Krishna stops because Shiva is his devotee and he has agreed. That is the reason Krishna has agreed. And then what Krishna does is, he just, in the place of 1,000 hands, he just leaves 4 hands. And then, but this man also, Banasura, also realizes his mistake. And then he praises Krishna about his glories, and then he goes back to the palace and brings back Usha, and then he releases Krishna's grandson, and then he marries both of them. Anirudh and Usha's marriage will be performed. So those are some of the marriages. Now the story of Riga. Again, we come back to the curses. So when Krishna's children were small, most of his children, like Samba. Samba is the son of Jambavati. Jambavati, we know, no? Last week we have studied about Jambavati. He's Samba, Pradyunma, Chendu, Banu, Gada. All of them goes to the forest for a picnic. So when all of them go to the forest for a picnic, in a well, they see a big lizard, a very big lizard, where there is no water, and this the lizard. So they try to save the lizard, and they could not save because the well is very deep and they could not catch it. So they somehow they develop a sympathetic feeling on this lizard, and then they go back to the kingdom, and then they tell their father Krishna that there is a lizard there suffering very badly without water and in the well. So Krishna goes there and then gives his left hand to pick up the lizard. So immediately, the moment Krishna's hand touched the lizard, immediately it becomes a beautiful Gandharva. He becomes a beautiful Gandharva. Then Krishna asks, you are like this, why did you become a lizard? Then that man says, Krishna, you are the supreme personality. I know you know everything, but you are only asking me to say, so I will say why I am like this. I am a king, and I was always trying to be very truthful and very good to Brahmins. And I was always donating cows to Brahmins. I always try to do only good works, not bad works. But unfortunately, one day I have donated a cow to one Brahmin. And then after the donation, the cow by mistake somehow slipped out of the total cows given to that Brahmin, and then the cow came back and then joined back into my cows. And so, without knowing, I have given this cow again to one more Brahmin. So, the first Brahmin has come and claimed. The second Brahmin says, this is given to me. And the first Brahmin says, it is given to me. So, there is a big argument there. So, this king says, okay, it was a mistake. It was a mistake done by me. It was nothing done by you all. It was a mistake done by me. So what he says is, whoever does not want to, leaves the cow, I shall give them, in that cow's place, I shall give them 10,000 cows. But in spite of that also, they were not ready. And then he causes lot of displeasure to the Brahmin. So after when this man dies, when this king dies, when he was taken to Yamaloka, that is when Yamaraja says we have to be very careful while giving donations. We should never displease anybody whom we are giving donations, because keeping Brahmins in a good mood is very important. That which means that it is not that you can simply avoid doing it. You have to do austerity, but while doing austerity, while doing all this, you have to be very careful. That is what it is. So because of that mistake what he has done, he was born as a lizard, but because he was a good person and because he was always doing good, he got the blessing of Krishna. Otherwise it's not easy to get the blessing of Krishna. So here what the Brahmin Krishna says is, while doing austerity, while doing anything, you have to be so careful, because if you do something very bad, 10 generations before and 10 generations after will suffer. Similarly, when you do something very good, 10 generations before and 10 generations after will get benefited. So we should not think, okay, if I do something, try to help somebody, and if that something happens, if I cause a displeasure to that somebody, I might get curse like this. No, we should not think like that. We should only do it fully conscious. Be very careful about what we are doing, what we are giving, and when we give something to somebody, we should always be very careful that it is it is given to the right person, and the right thing is happening, and the right thing is giving them happiness. We should be that careful while doing. Okay. And after Krishna and Balarama have come back to come back to Madura, they never went back to, like Krishna never went back to Vrindavan. But once once Balarama has gone to Vrindavan just to see his parents and all the gopis, gopikas, and all that. By the time they have gone there, all of them were grown big, but still the same affection he gets from Yashoda Mata and Nanda Maharaj. And he spends very beautiful time with his parents, with his friends, and he spends very good time with the gopis, and he remembers all his pastimes. He goes to, he goes to the forest the way they were doing in his childhood. Even though now he has become the princess of Madura, the Dwarka also, he behaves like a, he, like we go to our village when we are very, when after, even now when we go to our village, or when we go to other places where we have spent our childhood, we get into the mood of that child. So that's why he enjoys. And there once he wanted to go into the forest, and because they all wanted to have bath in Yamuna, and when they all wanted to have bath in Yamuna river will be very far. Then Balrama says, Yamuna, you come here. Then Yamuna says, how can I come there? I can't come. You have to come here. He says, if you don't come here, I will just make you into 10 pieces. That means Yamuna river, a single river flowing, will become 10. That means its power is gone, no? So Yamuna will feel bad and say, okay, I'll come. So he came there, all of them had bath in Yamuna river, and they enjoy nicely. So that way, only once Balaram went to Vrindavan, and he like Balaram and Krishna, they look alike, each other look alike. So like they all get the feeling that almost Krishna has come. And so when they stay together and they enjoy the pastimes nicely. Okay, King Poundra, the king of Kashi. This is one more king, a mad king. Like this mad king, what he does is he knows that Krishna is a great personality. So what he does is, yeah, Akshaya raised her hand. Akshaya, it is a mistake, or you want something? Yeah, attendance is posted. I think all of you can mark attendance. Yeah. Please be careful. Don't raise your hand because it disturbs me. Like only when there is something, you please raise your hand. Otherwise, don't raise your hand. So this Poundruga, this king was like almost like a mad king and a very arrogant king. What he does is he decorates himself the way Krishna decorates. Like he puts a peacock feather, and he holds a flute in his hand, and he wears all yellow color clothes the way Krishna wears, and then he even tries to put two more hands on him, and then he keeps claiming that he is Krishna, and he says, "Why are you all going behind Krishna? Don't go behind Krishna. I am Krishna. You all come to me." And he talks in a very arrogant way. So that way, Krishna comes and meets him once. And then when Krishna, with all his soldiers, he goes there. And you can see in the picture, no, Krishna goes in a very simple way, and he decorates himself like Lord Vishnu, and then comes there. Then everybody laughs at him. And then this man says, "No, you are a fool. You are not Krishna. You are not the Supreme Personality of Godhead. I am the Supreme Personality. I am, everybody should worship me, not you." And then he raises a war on Krishna. So for Krishna, killing this kind of people is just a child's play. So within no time, he kills this king. And then his friend is King of Kashi, who is the man behind all this mischief. So the moment this king is killed, Krishna puts his Sudarshan Chakra on King of Kashi, and immediately King of Kashi's head was also cut off, and the head goes and then falls in Kashi. Then Kashi, when it goes and falls there, his son's name is Sudakshika. So he sees that his father is killed. So he gets very upset. So what he does is, these are all demon kind of people now. So what they do is, he does certain rituals which will invoke bad omen. Like it will invoke a demon, it will invoke all ghosts, and such kind of huge demon will be invoked. So once that the demon is invoked, a lot of hundreds of ghosts also will be invoked. So when they're invoked, so immediately he sends them on to Dwaraka. So the demon comes on to Dwaraka, and it comes like a big fire. So it tries to burn away all Dwaraka. It tries to uplift Dwaraka and then push it on to the river and spoil the thing. Then everybody rushes to Krishna. Krishna knows everything. He'll be coolly playing chess with his wife. Then when they all come and plead him that this man is harming us, then immediately Krishna puts his Sudarshan Chakra on him. So immediately that Sudarshan Chakra chases him. When it chases, that ghost knows that he is going to be killed. So immediately he rushes back to Kashi, where he was born or created. So after going there, what will he do? He has to do something. So immediately he goes there, and after going there, from the fire, he was created by Kashi, king of Kashi's son, Sudakshika. So that Sudakshika, he goes and he himself kills Sudakshika. And so later on, the Sudarshan Chakra which comes behind has burned, because that city itself was a bad city full of demons. So the total place will be burnt. And next is marriage of Samba and Lakshmana. Who is this Samba? This Samba is son of Krishna and Jambavati. We all know who is Jambavati, no? Last week we studied about Jambavati. When what do you call it? Shamantakamani. When we studied about Shamantakamani, we all know that Krishna got the blame because of this moon's curse, and then Krishna went and fight with Jambavanta, and after Jambavanta gave his daughter Jambavati married to Krishna. So after the marriage, they had 10 children, and one of them is Samba. And then that was a time when we all Duryodhana, we all know who is Duryodhana. No? Yesterday, last week, I have showed you the map of the family of Pandavas and Kauravas. Duryodhana, as I told you, Dhritarashtra. You know Dhritarashtra. All of you know Bhagavad Gita. The first sloka starts with Dhritarashtra Uvacha. So he is Dhritarashtra. Dhritarashtra had 100 sons, as I told you. The elder son is Duryodhana. And Duryodhana's daughter is Lakshmana. She is a very beautiful girl. So when she wanted to, when she got to the age of marriage, they have arranged it for a Swayamvaram. So for that Swayamvaram, Samba also comes. But there was no previous relationship with this Samba and Lakshmana. So Lakshmana, Samba was not sure whether Lakshmana would marry him or not. So what he has done is, once he has seen Lakshmana, immediately he just picked up Lakshmana and went off, and then it was not a marriage, it was just like a kidnap. He picked up Lakshmana and then kidnapped her and went off. So immediately this Kuruvamsam, as I told, it's a great dynasty. It's a very big dynasty. So when they all these great leaders, the 5 great leaders of Kuruvamsam, they all get very upset because Duryodhana's daughter means it is the princess, the main princess of the kingdom. So they all go there, and the Samba was also a very great warrior. And then they had a very big fight, but fighting against these great leaders, even Arjuna had not a problem. So they fought, and finally they arrested Samba. When they arrested Samba, Krishna gets the news. So then everybody says, we'll go and fight with the Kauravas and then get our boy released. But elders advised, Duryodhana is the student of Balarama. So Duryodhana and Balarama had a special relationship. So when they had, because they had a special relationship, because they had a special relationship, they all said, okay, because Duryodhana will listen to you, you go there and then convince Duryodhana to give his daughter to Krishna's son. So first Duryodhana goes, and then nobody agrees there, especially the Krishna's son is Duryodhana. Duryodhana won't agree. So there was a lot of argument, and when they don't agree, actually Balarama is as powerful as Krishna. So he does not require any war or anything like that. He just takes his this thing and then tries to uproot or spoil the total city. So that's when they all get afraid, and then they agree for the marriage, and then they get Krishna's son Samba married to Duryodhana's daughter Lakshmana. This is how last week we discussed about Krishna's marriages. This week we are discussing about Krishna's children's and his grandchildren's marriages. So this way, all of them they were getting married, and then they were developing their relations, and then they were killing all the bad demon. They were, rather than killing, saying that they were killing the bad demon, we can say that Krishna was giving moksham to all the evil people with the little curses, and they were all living happily in Dwaraka. So next week we'll see something else. That's it. Today we are finishing fast. I should have prepared some more. Okay. Hare Krishna. Yeah. Akshaya, you have something, or by mistake you have raised? You have raised your hand, Akshaya.
Yes, Mataji. I have a doubt, Mataji.
Yeah. No video.
I did not understand the story of Nidra, Mataji.
Nitra? Who is Nitra? Who is Nitra, ma?
Nidra.
Nitra.
Last slide, Mataji.
Nitra evarama? Niga Maharaja. Niga, NRAGA, Niga. Niga, like he has given a cow as a donation to one Brahmin. And then not one cow. He gave many cows as a donation to Brahmin. And then when the Brahmin was taking the cow back, cow to his house, one cow slipped from the heap, the many cows, cow herd, and it just came back to the original place. The king's other cows in the king's palace. So king won't know, no, he won't know. So what he has done is, he is every day he keeps giving donation. So he again he gave these cows to some other Brahmin. By mistake, the cow which was given yesterday was given again today. So the first Brahmin came saying, "This is my cow." So the second Brahmin says, "No, it is my cow." So that's how they had an argument, and both of them were not ready to. Both of them were not ready to accept. Like this king said, "It was my mistake, not your mistake. I have done a mistake by donating the same cow to two people, but it was not intentional, but my mistake." But and said, "In the place of this cow, whoever leaves the cow, I'll give 10,000 cows to them." But somehow the Brahmins were not ready for their own reasons. They wanted the same cow. And so this caused displeasure to the Brahmins. So causing displeasure to the Brahmins is very bad. That is how he became a lizard. That is the story.
And Mataji, Usha and who Mataji? You told?
Usha is daughter of one demon king, Banasura. She married, whom did she marry, Usha?
I'm asking that only, Mataji.
Did you not?
I'm asking. That only I'm asking, Mataji.
Usha married Anirudh.
Aniruddha and two times she told Mataji, Aniruddha. Like
Aniruddha, see how many marriages Krishna had? So like that, those days, number of marriages is okay. Okay? Number of marriages is okay in those times, like not number of marriages. One man can marry any number of ladies provided he is able to take care of them. Provided he is able to take care of them. That is how Aniruddha married. Like we have seen, no, Rama married only once, but Sri Ramchandra's father married three wives. So Krishna had 16,008 wives, 16,108. Like those days, having multiple wives is not a mistake. That is called Yuga Dharma. In that Yuga, it is acceptable. In Kali Yuga, it is not accepted. Like that, every Yuga has got a separate Dharma. So that way, it is accepted. Yeah.
yes, sir.
Harshit, you have a doubt? Anna, Harshit. Brunda, you have a doubt?
Hare Krishna Mataji, I have a doubt.
Yeah.
Who are wives of Arjuna?
అర్జునకి అర్జున్ స్టోరీ చదువుకున్నప్పుడు చదువుకుందాం అమ్మా అర్జున్ స్టోరీ ఇప్పుడు ఎందుకు చెప్పు వై డూ వాంట్ కన్ఫ్యూజ్ యువర్ సెల్ఫ్ Arjuna has many wives, like the main is Draupadi, and then another wife is Subhadra. Subhadra is a sister of Krishna, okay, whose son is Abhimanyu. Abhimanyu's son is Parikshit. Great. Okay. So, and more than that, Arjuna was a great warrior. So he was, going throughout the world, conquering the world. So wherever he went, many princes, because of seeing his greatness, wanted to marry him, and he used to marry them. Like that. So Arjuna had many wives, but only the wives whom are known, mostly talked about, are Draupadi and Subhadra. Yeah. Anyway, let us not deviate so much from our main topic. Okay. Okay. Harshini, you have something? Harshini.
Yes, ma'am. Did Anuruddha marry two people, ma'am? Two
Yes.
wives, ma'am?
Yes, Amma. Or even more also, he might have married. That's what Akshaya was asking. No, I told you, no, every yuga there is a dharma. That yuga permits marrying of more people. Like for every.
Yes, ma'am. He married Usha and whom, ma'am?
Oh, you. Oh, Anirudh, Rochana.
Rochana. Okay, ma'am.
Rochana. Yeah. Or he must have married more also. I don't know. He must have married. Yeah. Vanshika.
Ma'am, Mataji, did Arjuna marry more than Krishna wife, Mataji?
No, Ma. I don't think. I don't think. No.
Congrats, Mataji.
Yes, Ma. Harshini, you have something? Yeah. Amma, don't get biased by these marriages, wives, and all that. Because our mindset is different, their mindset is different. Our society, our culture, our environment is different, theirs is different. So, those days, certain things are permitted, which are not permitted now. Okay, so never compare. For normally, second marriage means we get, how can you marry second time? That is, those days, that is permitted. Now it is not permitted. Many things. So that is called Yuga Dharma. Even, yeah, so don't compare. See, when we hear a story or do something, we should take the essence of it, not compare with our current situation. Okay, you don't think about much about this marriage, Krishna's marriages, Krishna's children marriages, and all that. Ashwini, you are not. Do you want to ask something or you're? Yeah. Yeah. Anything else? And let us not compare ourselves with those people. That also, let us not compare ourselves with those people. And have all of you marked attendance? Shall we close it today? Fast. Okay. Right. And I'm telling you, please prepare fast. Tomorrow, Sunday, tomorrow, all of you prepare for the video. And by tomorrow night, I want to receive all the videos. Yeah. Yamini. Yamini, you want to say something? Yamini, raise your hand, Amma. Where are you? Ah,
Mataji, tomorrow want to send Mataji.
ఏంటమ్మా
రేపు పంపించాలి Mataji అది.
రేపు ఎల్లుండి పంపించండి అమ్మా ఎందుకంటే వీ హ్యావ్ టు మేక్ ఏ వీడియో అవుట్ ఆఫ్ ఇట్ కదా వై వాట్స్ యువర్ ప్రాబ్లం
No Mataji.
నో ప్రాబ్లం ఐ హ్యావ్ బీన్ ఫిల్లింగ్ ఇట్ ఫర్ 2 weeks. Today is not the first day. 2 weeks
Okay.
back I told you. Okay.
Yes.
Right. Okay.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. I'm closing it. Right.